had music a minute ago. Like, hold on. I feel like I can, if we can play a little music. What am I feeling? Hmm. Cinematic, epic. I wonder what epic, the epic soundtrack sounds like. Sounds like a movie. We're building up to something amazing. I like it. I like it. And it looks like we are live on all the channels. Are you checking?
Oh,
You're like, I'm into the music.
I'm jamming, chick. I'm jamming. All right, LinkedIn. Yeah, I made some connections. This guy connected me to another lady in Texas today.
Nice. Your ecosystem's growing. I love it.
Oh, what a beautiful lady. I love her suit. Cheryl Jackson. Linda posted something.
Cheryl Action Jackson? Is it Cheryl Action Jackson?
I'm trying to find you. Sherry. There we go. Yeah, we're live on We're live on LinkedIn. I love it. I wonder if I can I share this to mine? Repost.
I'm going to apologize right now that my son is not here to keep my cat entertained. So she is going to be a co-star today.
I love it.
This is big. I'm not big enough. It's too much. It's a little much. It's a little much. Calm down a little bit. 7 o'clock at night. See what this sounds like. And you did see that we were live on. Oh, that's the same song. What in the world, AI? See, this is why you gotta just sometimes AI is doing too much. We're just gonna go.
Did you go live on Instagram as well?
I believe so. It's showing that I have. Let me see. Let me look at my phone. I'm right here, Kat. I don't know what you want from me. Jesus. Let's see. I feel like I didn't do another step for Instagram. Hello. My gosh.
Yes, you're live. It says you're live. Or maybe that was earlier. No, it's
No,
not.
I didn't.
It says,
I don't know.
Were you live earlier?
No, ma'am. I was not here. I'm only here for you. So no, I've been out all day.
See, it says live on your thing.
I'm not. Okay, let me try to. What we got? Okay, I see. Let me go over here to the good Instagram. Let's see. As long as we're live on LinkedIn and YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, YouTube is the next one.
Yeah, I think we're good. This is gonna be so much fun. I have so much stuff to tell you too. Like just with the word that you started today.
You cracking me up. My day started with me talking to Speak Up Sherry James. Okay. Am I on the right channel?
I'm not sure. I should just say Sherry James PMP. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I
there we
have
go.
quite a.
Yes, we're live. Uh-huh. Yep, we're live. Oh, that's right. That's YouTube.
Awesome. Sweet. Then we're good to go. I'm not gonna worry about Instagram. I mean, I'm trying, but I don't know if I. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure this out.
That's the thing, right? I just got off of Facebook Live with another speaker. It took us a half an hour because she's never done it before, and she was so um persistent, which is like that just gives me juice because she's like, oh, I've never done this before, and I want to do this, and she went through it. She went through all the fears. She went through all the things, and she made it happen. And we did the live. We didn't have the same amount of time we wanted to have, but that's the point, right?
Right. We learned
Like you
together.
don't just not just that. And are we live? If we're live, y'all listening.
Yes, honey,
This is
we're
our
not. We're not. We're like
right.
everybody's learning at the same time. Yes.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, you don't give up because it didn't work the first
Right.
time. You don't give up because it didn't work the second time. You don't give up because it didn't work the third time. This is the piece that's missing with so many people, especially entrepreneurs, because they don't see the results right away, or the results don't look like what they thought it
Mm,
should have looked like. They think
that's
it's
it.
not working, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I could see her on the Facebook. Now she gets to go back, and if she chooses to, she can delete all the ones that didn't work. And I would recommend that she lets it stay on there, so she shows people who she is. That
Hmm.
is like character. That
Yeah.
stuff builds character. Entrepreneurship requires character.
It's mandatory. It's mandatory.
Mandatory,
Absolutely.
right? Not an option. But it's these little things that you get to walk through to get you to the other side, right? So that you
Yeah.
can enjoy the fruits of your labor. Then you look back and you be like, oh my God, oh, and you would, this is where you hear it say, I can't believe I did it. And how do
Yes.
you feel when you say
Mhm.
that to yourself, when you speak to yourself like that? And not
Yeah.
wait for somebody else to say, "Oh, you did good."
No, you have to do it in the day. And
No,
I,
no, no, no.
yeah.
Acknowledge your.
Yes.
I know that's a whole.
But I don't think, I don't,
Yeah,
but nobody shows us how to do that though. Okay. Like
yeah,
nobody shows us how to like write down those little wins because the little wins add up. And
yep,
eventually,
yep.
again, if you put $1 in my account every day, 365
Compound,
days, and then for
compound.
5 years, and then for 10 years, and that compounded interest, but nobody even stops to go, you know what, I did a thing today. Like,
Mhm.
whatever happened yesterday is too late. It's 7 o'clock.
Yep.
It's time. Yay. All right.
Let me ask.
So,
Can you hear
we
background?
have
Can you hear anything in the background? Are
a
you
little
hearing anything
bit.
in my background? Yes.
No, not
Hold
now.
on.
A
Hold on one
little
second.
bit. I hear people talking a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So it's 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for y'all being on time, showing up for day 2 of Grit and Thrive Live with Coach Lorna. We have a guest today in my emotional service animal Willow. So I'm gonna apologize now for her cameo that I'm sure she will bless us with at some point throughout tonight. But we're here to talk about this fantastic curated experience that Coach Lorna Sherland has created for us. We're going to talk about. I'm going to let you tell us what the word is for today because I
Mm-hmm.
you blessed me this morning. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to steal your thunder.
You guys see
Um,
my thunder?
I don't want to steal your thunder. So tell us a little bit about. So if people didn't get a chance to watch us yesterday because of my technical challenges,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about this curated event and who should be in the room.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, thank you again. I know we started talking before. Y'all got a little bit of how we roll when the camera isn't rolling. It's no different. Just saying. My name is Lorna Sherland, and I am a business strategist, transformation coach. I'm a real estate broker, and I help driven female entrepreneurs who have stuck in their business or their life to collapse their 5 year goals into 5 months. Or if they're willing, that is, and if they're willing to do the work. And so I've created and curated this event, this 3 day event, which is really for such a time as this, number one, and such people as this, the people who are ready to do the next level of their life. You've been successful up until now. You've done so in a way up until now that you know. Well, what if there was another way? What if there was a way that you could do it with more ease, more flow, less grind, more grit, right? And thrive on the other side. And that's why we created this event so that we can teach you a couple of things, unlock your mind to think a different way, unlearn some things that you've already learned, and relearn and discover, this is a discovery as I shared yesterday, relearn and discover the new way that works for you, that allows you to live in with peace of mind, with ease, and actually make more money. How about that?
I'm sorry. Say that last part one more time. Say that one more.
And with ease and flow and make more money.
I like
Yeah,
that part. I like that part.
yeah,
That's the part.
because it's we've been, y'all, we created the room for you and for us. We're going to be learning with you at the same time. There are a lot of things that we've gone through. We've learned a couple of things, and we want to bring them to you. And in addition to that, this is also learning for us, because we're going to be learning from each other. We're going to have, I think we have 6 speakers on so far that are going to come into the space. They're all from different walks of life. They're all at different levels of success. So it's going to be really a diverse room that you get to really learn from these people and see how you can use their thought processes and their systems to create what you want to create for your next season, right? Whether that's more money, better relationships, whatever it is for you, you're going to get it in the room. The
And
difference is you're not just going to make a lot of notes. The difference is you're going to integrate it.
like actually and be held accountable. So if you guys didn't get a chance to hear me yesterday to talk about the fact that this is my transformation coach, and in this season of my life, if I'm calling somebody coach, if I'm calling somebody coach, and doing it consistently and ready to show up for this event, which is nothing like I've seen. And I've been to all the things. I've been to all the things and all the shows and the conferences. And
Mm-hmm.
I do come back motivated. I'm just like, yes, that was great. And then I sleep. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you go to sleep. And then the next day I get right back into that grind. And so you
Oh,
mentioned,
yeah.
how do we get out of that mental grind and take the grit that we have? We know that we've done a thing or three to get to
Mm-hmm.
this place, wherever we are, whatever level of success we've already achieved.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how do we thrive? How do we get from this just, I'm just getting by, I'm just barely, how do we get to that level of thriving in
Mm-hmm.
2025? And I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again today and tomorrow. It's time to thrive. I got to rhyme because I'm corny like that. It's time to thrive in
Mm-hmm.
2025. Like, if you're not thriving, you need to be in the room with us at
Absolutely.
the Famous Country Club, because it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a paradigm shift. Just like creating mental wealth was a paradigm shift for us 5 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, we now have this mental wealth. We feel mental. We're mental millionaires, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
We're millionaires. But what are we doing with it? How are we saving it, investing it? Um,
Mm-hmm.
how diverse is our portfolio? This is the kind of thing that I'm excited to learn at the Las Colinas Country Club. I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've got like our speakers, our opening keynote speaker, the spoken
Oh,
word artist, Obi West. Oh my gosh, if you have not, I need you all to, like, as soon as we're done, go listen to some of it. As long as you're an adult. As
yep,
long
yep.
as you're an adult.
Caveat. Uh-huh.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, here's a disclaimer. All
Yep.
of our speakers are adult speakers. So, but check out the energy that he's going to be able to bring into this sacred space to kick off this event, to say, hey, listen, don't forget what we're doing. We understand what emotional intelligence is. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
give us a different perspective using spoken word. I'll be there to remind you to move and put your mental wealth deposits first. So, as
Mm-hmm.
MC, I'm not going to let you sleep. You're not going to be on your phones. Y'all know me. If you've ever been in many of my audiences, you know I will collect phones if need be. But Coach Lorna has already planned to make sure that we are in that sacred space. We're not videotaping. We're not going to go
Yep.
live. Obviously,
Nope.
because yesterday I don't know how to go live. So you don't have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about me because I
Yeah, yeah. So you asked me a question. How do we thrive in this
Mhm,
season, right? And one of the things that's really and I'll talk about what we were talking about this morning because it's so relevant, right?
mhm, mhm.
First of all, we get to be so present a lot of time, and I had to learn this myself too, right? We're not present. And when we're not present, we're just in the minutia. That's the grind, right?
Mhm.
You're in
Mhm.
the minutia, you're not present, things are happening, and then something happens in your space, and you'd be like, oh my God, how did that happen? Because you weren't present. And you were being shown, but you weren't present, right?
Mhm.
That's the distortion that I was talking about this morning,
Yes.
right? We're moving so fast in our world. Everything has our attention. We're going to all the parties. We're going to all the Zooms. We're going taking all the courses. Back to back. We're flying here. We're flying there. Well, is everything that you're doing aligned with what your mission is?
But
Right?
that's thriving. But thriving, is that how you know you're thriving? How do we know? How will we know that we're thriving?
Well, you'll know that you're thriving when things feel easy, when things
Mhm.
feel that it's in flow. And I'm
Mhm.
not talking about pseudo. I mean, like, even if you're by yourself in a room, you're like, huh, this is great. Oh my gosh, my nervous system is feeling really good. We're really feeling, I'm feeling energized, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
um, that's the biggest indicator is when you're
Yeah.
in flow. When you're in
Mhm.
flow, you can thrive, you can think, you can generate, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it doesn't feel like, oh, you're asking yourself different questions, right? It's not, why isn't this working, or what I got to do to make this happen, or right? It's just in flow, and you're letting it happen. And as things are happening, you're in inquiry, you're in curiosity. As you realize things are happening, it's not, you know, uh, that energy. I don't know how to explain that energy for you to see. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a
Oh, I
flow.
get it. Mhm.
It's like currency. I live by a river, right? Like a lake. So when I
Mhm.
look at the lake, I see it just going along. That's
Mhm.
thriving. If the
Mhm.
if the lake can go like that, you can go like that. That's
And
how you
it's
know.
trusting too, right? Like that lake is
Stress
trusting.
free.
It's
Yeah.
just trusting. It's like, you know what? I don't know where the water came from. I don't know where it's going. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I'm
Yeah.
just
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
doing what I'm doing what rivers do. I'm doing what
Yeah.
lakes do, right?
Yeah. And you do it
And
with
I don't
intention. Don't get me wrong. You do it with
care.
intention, but it's just this peace that you get a sense of peace, even when you're thriving, when stuff is just peaceful. Like
Yes,
you are still just in the stuff may be going to hell in a handbasket. Let me say it like that, right?
yes, yes.
And you are aware of it, you're taking care of it, but it's still with ease and flow.
Yeah,
That is possible. It's just
it
that we
is.
have been taught how to do it, right?
Right. Agreed. Yeah, I have one of my favorite words this year is pronoia, right? So
It's a big
um,
word, Sherry.
I love this word. It's so awesome now. Like paranoia, like most of us are used to living in a state of paranoia, right? In that fight or flight
Fight or flight.
survival.
Hmm.
But pronoia is this flow that coach is talking about. It is saying, I already know that it's all going to work out for me. I already know it. And so having a transformational coach for me has proven that sometimes I need to be reminded of my own favorite word, pronoia. We already know it's going to be successful. It all will be well because it is well.
Hmm.
And that's something that you have to. It's hard to do alone. You
Hmm.
kind of have to have some other sisters around you because the world will get you caught up and it'll get
In their
you.
drama.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're like, why am I even? How did I end up in the middle of everybody else's stuff? And
Hmm.
then to be able to self ground or to get a text message from someone to be this morning to be like, okay, what are the disruptions? Like yesterday, we had tech issues. We had, but we still went live. We found a way. I was so embarrassed, Coach, today to see on um YouTube that we went on live with my Zoom. So it's like Sherry James personal room. I'm like, that's not what that's supposed to say. Like, it's not. I specifically typed in G.R.I. Like, but guess what? We're here again today. I had at least 4 phone calls today from people who just happened to catch us
Yeah.
on YouTube, right? They were like, "Hey, I caught you on YouTube. I would love to know more about this experience." And so we were where we were supposed to be. Everything is working out exactly. The
Everything.
universe is conspiring for us.
Yes. Yes. And what would it look like for us to be okay with that? Okay, so I'm just gonna give you the first, I'm not gonna give you the whole thing, but I'm gonna give you, because we already said it in a lot of ways, right? Grit.
Yeah.
The event is called Grit and Thrive Live. So grit is an acronym, right? And it's an acronym that helps you to ground yourself. So the G stands for ground, right? But how do you
Mm,
do that? We're going to do that in a bunch of ways. We're going to do that with a bunch of exercises. Grounding starts with your identity, by the way. So we're gonna talk about. Yes, I know you think you identify yourself in a certain way. We're gonna kind of just and actually ground it. You remember we talked about integration. We're gonna integrate that grounding. Um, R stands for resilience. See how stuff didn't work, but we got on. I said we were talking about it, right? We got on even though
mhm,
things weren't working, right? That's resilience. How do
mhm.
you build that
Yeah.
resilience when things really feel hard, right? It's a level of
Mhm.
leadership that is you got to train yourself. You got to train yourself, and
Oh,
you get to have support behind it too, right? And then the I
mhm,
stands for intentionality. What is the mission, the values, the vision? We're in the event. I'm gonna dissect for you the differences between intrinsic value and highest
mhm.
value and moral values because they're all different. Nobody
They
teaches
are.
that, right?
Oh,
So I'm gonna
so
bring that to the room for y'all. And the T stands for tenacity. As you pursue whatever you want to pursue, whether it's money, relationship, all of the above, how do you be tenacious and stay in alignment again when things don't feel like it's right? Right? How do you make those decisions? And because here's the thing, how many people do you know stay in relationships that they're not supposed to stay in a relationship with because culture says they get to stay, right? How many people stay in jobs that they're unhappy in because they're afraid of no income, right? How do you get so tenacious that you trust yourself enough to know that whatever you decide to do, you can make it happen without grinding, right?
mhm,
That
mhm,
it takes a level of awareness, it takes a level of character to
mhm.
actually do that. So we're
The
gonna unlock
tenacity.
all that uh, in the event. So that
I'm
you want me to
excited.
give you a piece? I'm giving you
Just a little bit.
the thrive. Y'all have to come.
Yeah, that's not. And we talked about this yesterday, right? Right now, everybody's doing all the things, right? Everyone's doing all the things, and they're inviting you to the. You are called here and pulled there and invited here, but how often do you feel like that's something that you have to do because of whatever commitment with societal norms? Because I went to college with this person, or our kids grew up together. So I. But when did you go to an event to say, "I'm doing this for me. I'm taking 3 days. I'm investing
Me.
myself. I'm
Yeah.
investing in myself for 3 days." To become a better version of myself. And that tenacity that you talk about, here's what's interesting.
Mhm.
Other people see it in us and we don't see it in ourselves. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Sherry, you've been
That
through
part.
this and you've done this, and I'm over here beating myself up. Like I didn't even get a chance to do
Mhm.
the one thing of the 47 things I did today. One of the thing I didn't do. I was tenacious about those other not, the other nine, but that one I will beat myself up. And so to be in a room in this
Yeah.
sacred space is an honor. And so it's not for everyone. This is not a come one, come all. We have limited seats on
No.
purpose. It's not for if you can't make it, we will tell you the next time we have this event. It is not going to be shared. It's not going to be online. It's not a hybrid event. Like I said yesterday, it is a human event. It might be one of the last
Yeah.
opportunities we have to connect as humans in the same room, in the same space, with the same goals. Coached by someone who holds you accountable for the things that you've learned and how you apply them. Uh, uh, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Hi, Darlene. Thank you for being here. It's good. You saying good chat. Tell me what you're getting from this conversation. I would love to hear your comments, and what you're hearing and what lands for you. Because that helps us to actually bring the content to the room as well. Because we want to make sure that whoever's coming, whoever is making the decision to invest in themselves to be with us in this. It's so funny that you said sacred space, right? I just got off another Facebook Live, like I told you, with another one of the
Mhm.
speakers, and she said the same thing. And I didn't even say
Oh,
that. She was the one who brought sacred space into the conversation. So it's interesting. That's part of being
yes,
aligned, right?
absolutely.
In the whole thing that you're creating. So, Darlene, if you're still here, let's hear what you're hearing, and if you want to also share what's missing for you in your business, what's the gap that you see for
Mhm.
yourself, and if you can't see the gap, just connect with us and let's have a conversation. It doesn't You don't get to stay where you're at,
Mm.
right? Because
Wait,
the price
say
that
that
you
again. We don't get to, because you have to tell me. She has to tell me this every day, y'all. I'm just big. So tell me again. We don't get to what? We don't get to stay where we at.
you don't get to stay where you are. No, you get to
Yeah.
shift. Like we're all paying when we're not in a good
Mhm.
space. Um, and hear me when I say this. Uh, you know, there's so. I was listening to Deepak Chopra
Ah,
today. You know what he
mm,
said? There's so many people out there. They're from one spectrum to the next. And one of the things he said was, there are people out there who are
mhm,
unhappy because they're poor. They don't have a
mm,
lot. And what hit me, which is why I'm really excited about this space, the people who have so much money and they're still unhappy. Has anybody ever wondered why that
mm.
is?
Yeah.
Because when you hear from somebody who's broke, no money, nowhere to live, nothing to eat, and the other person has everything,
And they're still miserable.
everything, and they still
Mhm,
miserable. Guys, that's a message right
mhm.
there.
Yeah.
That's why we want to really unlock you from how you've been and really reground you into who you are,
And to see the
right? So that
financial,
you
mental, physiological, to see that return on investment every single day,
Mhm,
right? It's not, you don't have to wait every 2 weeks to
mhm.
get a paycheck. You don't have to wait till to your disbursement checks come out from your stocks. Every day you get to remind yourself of how you got here through
Mhm,
grit and how you
mhm,
will subsequently thriving is just for today, right? For today. How do we wake up
mhm.
with that intention? And if you don't, how do you know how to check your phone and be like, okay, Coach Lord, what's the word for today? What do we get to do today? What do we get to be today?
Yeah,
And that it just brings that sense of wonder. So we talked on one of my lives, I think, yeah, that
curiosity, right?
curiosity,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
inner
yeah.
child, that, oh, I get to do something cool today. What are we going to do? And to go into it with this excitement about who you get to come home as after day one. Show up that next day like, oh my gosh, yesterday the inner child in me was satisfied and excited and she feels safe. So day two is just to build on that momentum to be like, okay, now we know
Yeah,
everybody, we're good. There really is nobody taping and sending it to live, Instagram live. Okay, we're safe. It's a good space. We have good
yeah,
energy. And the folks that know
yeah.
me know that I'm all about energy. I can we can pick up on it. Can't we pick up
Yes.
on it when we walk in the room and we're like,
Mm. You're always making me laugh on these lives.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We,
Oh Lord.
but it's
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
thing that women that we
It's
get
true.
to do. We get to feel the room when we walk in. We are
Yeah.
blessed with the opportunity to feel. And I say this often. If I walk into a room and I don't know anybody, I'm gonna make eye contact with at least one person, and we're gonna have a full on conversation with no words.
Without
Just
saying anything.
energy. I'm gonna walk in
Yes.
and I'm gonna like, hey girl, you good? I'm good. No, not really. Okay, got it. Like, and people are like, do you know her? Never met her. No, don't know. We have the ability and the gift to communicate into each other's spirits, and our
Yep.
soul, into our essence. But somebody told us not to do it. Someone was like, "Don't do that. You don't be friends. Don't befriend a woman that looks like you." She's and I'm here to tell you that the thriving comes when you are comfortable in your sacred space. And I'm excited. 3 days,
Mhm.
Let's Clean This Country Club, starting off with understanding our emotional intelligence. We have, I'm not going to give away the secret sauce. I'm going to be emceeing. We're going to be wrapping up at the end of the event with, of course, I would bring the testosterone to the room. I say that, I said it yesterday. I'm like, hey, it's going to be great. Wonderful, wonderful, peaceful, yay. But also being grounded, opening up with a champion, someone who is an advocate and a champion in OB West, and then being able to take this. Now, what do I do with this information I've learned in 3 days? How do I apply this to my business, to my company, to my plan for launching, to my book, whatever it is that we're doing?
Long term.
And so he's going to
Mhm.
talk to us about, like, do you really want to be an entrepreneur? Because here's what this cycle looks like, and you get to choose. We get to choose, Coach. What? We could be like, you know what? I'm just, and so to put it in the universe, I'm totally okay choosing being a pampered wife. I'm totally okay with that. Just
I love that. I love, and that's okay. And no, nothing is wrong with that. I was talking to a lady not today. When today's what?
today
Tuesday,
is
Wednesday. Monday, I met a new person. So one of the things I do in my space is I set an intention to meet at least or speak to at least one new person a day. Imagine. So for this year, my intention is to meet 365 new people.
okay.
Okay. So I met this lady on Monday, and she was visiting her daughter who lives in my building. And for some reason, she just started talking to me. We just started talking, and I found out who she was. And you know what she told me? She's 57 years old. She was an accountant,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she got so burnt
Mm-hmm.
out, so burnt out. She decided to change her career. Now she delivers luxury RVs all across the country. She's as happy as a lark because she has
Mm-hmm.
freedom. But she got to choose. What would it look like for you to
Mm-hmm.
choose? But the key, and I acknowledged her because the key was for her that she became so exhausted, so tired that she had to. But what if you
What
didn't
if you
have
didn't
to?
have
What if
to?
you? What if?
Oh,
Yes. What if you just decided that this was what I want and this is where I'm going and this is what I get to do and that's it, right? She had to make that
yeah.
decision because it was killing her
Mm-hmm.
body,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're going to talk about your nervous system in our at our event because that's part of the challenge and we're gonna work on
Yeah,
that.
I might need all the help, Coach. I don't know. I might steal the whole. I'm like, I'm sorry, and I will be the one. If no one wants to put their hand up and volunteer, it's gonna be me because I need all the help. I understand, and I love that you
Yeah,
tie the intentionality to this. So, the one of my business partner in our nonprofit 2020 Lives Changed. Her name is Dr. Stacia Alexander, and I told you she has this course and a book called The Emotionality of Success. Because to your point,
yeah.
people are like, oh my God. And I said it on my show with John Sally. Like, people think all I need is more money and I'll be happy. Really? Because if you have not addressed the thing that makes you unhappy, then look, if we have to,
The money can't fix it.
well, who was the great lyricist that said more money, more problems, right?
More
So,
problem.
like, there's the opportunity to say, you know what? It just when I do move into this next bracket, this next tax bracket, I need to already have this
Hmm.
healing uh working in
Hmm.
my inside. Because if not, you're
Absolutely.
gonna look up and be like, why don't I have friends? These people are new. Who are these people? The people who you were like, hanging out with. You can't take everybody to the Grammys. I'm sorry. I mean, some family members, you have to be like, y'all can watch me from home and cheer from the house, but I can't take everybody. So, how does that impact our emotions when we're like successful, but still unhappy? And this is an opportunity for us to show up with a very small number of women and share that safely. And, because we don't take
Hmm.
those masks off. We walk around like, I'm so happy. Everything's great. I have no problems.
Hmm.
Because the world
Hmm.
has told us we had to do that, right?
Right, right, and stuff it
Yes.
down, and then you get sick, and you're wondering why. Let's go there. Okay, we're gonna go through all of that. We're gonna go through all of that.
Why
We're
you
gonna we're
calling me
gonna we're
out
gonna
today,
really
Coach? Why you doing me like this today? I thought we were friends. You're just calling me out in front of everybody. I said, oh,
Yes, we're gonna go through all of that. And so I love that you talked about the mask that we wear. By the way, what's his face? Lewis House wrote a book for the men, the mask of masculinity. So if
mm,
nobody has read that, the men who are listening to us, because you know that's an important piece of this whole puzzle in the realm of consciousness. We get to have men shift as well. I'm my commitment is to the woman. Men, you still gotta shift as well, because when the woman shift, you're gonna shift, but you still get to choose
mm,
to shift, right? Because sometimes, you know, for me in my relationship, my ex-husband chose not to shift, but I knew my mission. So this is what we're gonna deal with in the room. Like, how do you build your character?
mm,
How do you build you such that you make decisions based on who you want to be in the
mm,
world, not based on anybody else's idea of who you get
right.
to be. No, we're going to build you up, right? And it's probably going to be a discovery for you because you've never looked at yourself in the way that way before. So we're going to have some exercises that are going to support that, and unlock and unlearn. Like I said, um, yeah, super excited.
The unlearning. Like let's talk about unlearning, right?
Uh huh.
Because I, you know, I see women who cannot find themselves. And I said this in your master class, right? I remembered thinking once I was divorced that I was no longer welcome in certain rooms because I was no longer wearing a wedding ring, right? I remember thinking, yes, I have 30 plus years of corporate experience and leadership and intern, all of the things that I there's proof, but then there is this self-limiting belief, that because I
Hmm.
am not married or because I'm not in a relationship, period, with whatever, um,
Hmm.
how dare you get to spend the rest of your life working on you? Right? And I'm like, I
Mm.
actually, that's what I choose. I'm choosing to make my health better, with your help and with
Mhm.
that help of Dr. Fisher and Dr. Phil, all the people that have come in to give me these little pieces, these degrees of a whole. And so I
Mhm.
like the idea of the completion, the 360 degrees that it takes. And if you think about that, we all in our lives, we grow up like, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get a degree. That's one degree of the whole. What happened to the rest of it? Like, when did you decide to stop working on the rest of that cycle? And so this is what we'll get to do for 3 days straight. We get to talk about
Yeah.
that full coming full circle from where you were to where you are, and to make sure that where
Mhm.
you are is comfortable to
Mhm.
wherever it is that God has you to go. Like, that is, nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that work, right?
Yeah, yeah, and again, because of the distortion, right? Because everybody is, you know, when the whole distortion thing came up this morning, it was all about, what came up was how things are moving so fast, and
Mm.
when things are moving fast, you can't, you can't see, right?
Mhm.
Do you remember Matrix?
Yeah. Did you know that
Remember
a
that
woman
movie, The
that looked
Matrix?
like me wrote the Matrix? Did you know that?
I did not even know
The
that.
Matrix and the Terminator, same lady, looks just like you and I. Hmm.
What?
Continue. Go on.
Did not know that.
There's a book.
We should get her for this
There's a book
event.
called The Mother of the Matrix. Yes, she looked like. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, continue. Yes, I've seen the Matrix.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Matrix, if the way I remember the Matrix, it was one of those things where the numbers were moving so fast and everything was moving so fast, 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 fast. When things are moving so fast, your brain, yes, your brain is a supercomputer, and you're human, right? And there's a um there's a level of stillness that we require as human beings in order for us to know that we know that we know that whatever decisions we're making are the right decisions. Sometimes we're so overstimulated, right? And we're going to talk about the brain when we're in the room, because you get to figure out and also know how your brain
Mhm.
works, because the way your brain works, your brain don't work like my brain. my brain don't work like your brain to a level, but there's a level of brain activity that is across the board the same thing. So when you learn that and you understand your personality, we're going to do some exercises that are also going to open up an understanding of your personality. You could have a personality that you've been operating under, but it's not really you. We talked about the mask. Well, what would it look like if you found out who you truly were and owned it, right? And be okay with owning it.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about not being able to take everybody to the
Yes.
Grammys. Yeah. If when you own who you are and you say I can't take you to the Grammys, and you get to be okay with that and be okay with the rebuttal of
Yes.
that, right? That's your
Oh my
power,
God.
right? So how do you get there? You gotta learn who you be so that you can stand in your power.
Yes.
So we're gonna do that in the room.
And Deepak Chopra says something. He has a I'm gonna say an album. I'm gonna date myself and say it's an album. I'm sure that's it's not what it's called. It's on, it's on Spotify. But it's called the Soul of Healing Affirmations. And he does
Mhm.
like every, ABC all the way A to Z, and giving you different different things to remember, affirmations, right? But one of
Mhm.
them he talks
Mhm.
about is we are humans being, and just moving the letter S from the end to the beginning. We are humans being, which how many,
Mhm.
nobody taught us how to be, coach. They taught us how to wife, they taught us how to mother, they taught us how to work, they taught us how to, but nobody taught us how to be
Daughter, they taught us how to do all the other
all the
things
other,
except to be.
and you don't have time.
It's so
Or
funny.
they'll say, you know what, I'm gonna let you be, because people actually say that I'm gonna let you be, but I'm gonna let you be for 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna need you to get back onto that wife and mother and sister and business owner and
Yeah.
entrepreneur and sitting on the boards and all the things that we have achieved in our life. And so that's why this room is very special. It's not really an open invitation. It is exclusive invitation. So there are people that they may not be ready for this. They may not be mentally
Mhm.
ready to say, no, I'm ready to be human. I know I'm a human being, but I'm ready to be human. And what that means is take off the masks, take off the roles and the titles. We had a conversation, and I felt bad because you were like, people have all these extra certifications and letters after their name. And I was like, I show up as Sherry James PMP everywhere. But why? But I had the opportunity to look inside and say, why do I do that? Like, why do I still feel like people need to see the PMP? Now, just so we're clear, there is another
Mhm.
Sherry James that spells it just like me, and she is in a very interesting line of work. That is not me.
So the distinction is required. Yeah,
I'm
and
just
that's
telling you.
fine. I'm just yeah. And it's so funny again in a conversation. This is how I know I get a lot of confirmation, right? Um, we talk about values, right? And that again, we're going to talk about values at depth at the event. A lot of people are um, have this idea that without the title, they're you know I don't know if it's not good enough. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people. I'm not saying you per se. In
Yeah.
general, most people, because it's a training, right? Again, it's another form of domestication. That's why we have colleges. That's why we have schools. That's why we have higher education. Is because we have been domesticated into believing that when we have the title. I mean, come on, y'all. My mom, as much as I know a lot about health, and I'm not a doctor because I study it for
Mm-hmm.
myself, right? I'll tell my mom, don't do this, don't do that, don't eat this, don't eat that, eat this, eat that, da, 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 right? Okay. And then she goes to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and then she comes back on the phone and she goes, oh, yeah, Dr. So and so said the same thing you said. Oh, really?
Such a shock. I'm so surprised. So surprised.
Because I don't have a doctor at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of my
Mm-hmm.
name or a title at the end of my
Mm-hmm.
name, she's not going to listen to
Mm-hmm.
me. So it's a domestication,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you realize that it's part of the challenge, that when you realize that's part of hitting your value system, then you're gonna be like, okay, well, who do I really want to
Yeah.
be, right?
And
Who do I really want to be?
We have the opportunity. We get, listen to me changing my language, y'all see this? We have the opportunity to see ourselves using AI. So this is one of the things that I had the opportunity to do this year, right? Like, tell me something about myself that
Yeah.
I don't already know. And I would
Oh
never have
yeah.
said any of those words about myself. I was like, oh, I mean, yes, I did do those things. And yes, I am the creator of that. And yes, yes, yes. However, we don't believe it. And the next generation, in order for us, this level of success that we have achieved, in order for this to become generational wealth, generational mental wealth, we have to be able to say, I know I'm going to tell you some stuff and I know you're going to go Google it. I know it's fine, but know that you are in charge of your own search engine optimization. This is
Yep.
my engine. I'm searching me. What do I think about this situation? What do I feel about it? What are my memories around it? And how many of those things are still true? And it's, especially
Mhm.
when some of us deal with grief and we deal with trauma and loss, instead of us going through that, feeling it, and then moving on, we carry it with ourselves
Mhm.
forever. We just can't become a part of our
Mhm.
badge and honor. We're like, yes, I've been through 30 some odd years in corporate America. And when you get on the other side of it, and someone's like, oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. Like, someone's like, man, what do you get to be now? Like, what do you get now?
Yeah.
What do you get to be? And I will tell you that when I first was asked the question, I was stumped. Like, I mean, I get to be
Mhm.
what? Yes, you get to be that, whatever that is that you dreamt you would be, um, in
Mhm.
whatever way. And in 2025, you can literally pretty much be whatever you want to be. Like, I mean, literally,
No limit. No
there's no
limit.
limits. There's no hi, Chris.
Mhm. Hi, Christopher.
Uh,
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for showing up. Yeah, like what an opportunity. What an opportunity to sit around other women and be like, what do you get to do today? Who do you get to be? And who do you
Mhm.
get to be for the rest of your life? And then make sure that you've got a, I'm gonna say tribe, but you've got to, because I call my people my tribe, right? My tribe will call me on my stuff, right?
Mhm.
Now I have gotten to the point where if I know somebody's gonna call me on my stuff, I might not answer the phone, right? Like I'm like, oh, this is accountability partner.
So hold on. So hold on one second, Sherry, because I want to speak into that for a minute. That's
Yeah,
okay. That's
yeah,
actually okay. The trick is how long you're gonna stay in your stuff. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the part. That's the part that's a muscle that you got to build because you must emotions.
Mhm.
What is an emotion?
It's a temporary feeling. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just made
it's
that
an
up.
energy, right? It's
Yeah,
just an energy that's moving through your body. So you gotta experience it. The challenge
again.
is most of us stay in the experience for way too long, and that's what causes um, all the negative responses, right? Because you
Yes.
stay in that, and some of us, not for nothing, some of us even in the African American community, we've been in that space for a long time, right?
Mm,
And how do we experience the experience and start building, seeing what lessons and doing all the questioning behind it, the curiosity behind it, right?
yeah.
And move forward. I just want to shout out to Christopher. Christopher, I know you're here. Thank you for being here. And I know we're talking about women, but I know you have women in your life. So
Christopher is there. Let me tell you a
share
little bit
this.
about Christopher so you can ask him some good questions. So let me
Oh,
let you. I'm gonna let you coach Christopher on the fly because Christopher is one of my favorite human beings. Christopher actually is a part of the Phoenix Speaks team. He is up in Massachusetts.
okay, hi.
But he works in the peer coaching space. So
Okay.
literally, what he does for work is he teaches people how to talk through their own shared or their common shared life experiences, right?
Okay. Okay.
And he's amazing. We're working on him being a speaker. So next year we're gonna have him come and be one of the open and closing
Oh,
speakers.
okay. Okay.
But Chris can tell us a little bit about like what it means peer coaching. Like we used to do it growing up, right? It was like Sunday dinner, or it was like when you went to your aunt so and so's house or whatever.
Yep.
There was like, "Oh, what's going on in your life? Let's talk about it. Here's how
Let's
you
talk
did it."
about it.
But we've moved on and we've moved away, and we don't have those people to speak life into us and to remind us not only who we are, but who we came from, like who came before us. Because if you're reminded of where you come from, it's very difficult to stay stuck in those negative emotions, you're like, okay, but wait. I mean, my house, for people who've been in my place, I have masks, every like actual African masks, right? We
Mhm.
talk about masks, but they represent something. Each of them represents something, but you got to take it off. You can't keep it on all the time. And Chris works in the space where he can tell people like, hey, I understand where you're going, what you're going through, because I've also gone through a similar experience. And this is kind of like a group peer coaching session for 3 days with women who can understand where you are, who understand where you're going,
Yep.
and understand that we need to leave what happened behind unless it's a reminder of whose we are and who has us completely prepared to thrive. What do you
Mhm.
think?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
think about
absolutely,
what do you think
absolutely.
about peer coaching?
I and Chris, put in the chat when whatever you want to share with the audience. We're here to read out for them. So whatever you want to share, just put in the chat. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you because we we forgot the community, and as you were sharing that just now, the distortion came back up. The reason why we
Mhm,
forgot about it is because of the distortion, right? Because
mhm.
things are moving so fast. Everybody's like, "Oh, I gotta mind my own business," like nobody. Nobody, I ain't got time to be looking at you and what you're doing and what you're going through. You could be dying, and this brings into, I'm not going to get dark. However, it speaks into the high rates of suicide that I've been hearing about over the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Um, because we're so busy and in the distortion in the matrix, right? You're not even seeing whether when you don't hear from somebody, you don't reach out to them because you're doing your own thing.
Mhm,
And people are there. Some people don't have the strength to reach for the support, right?
mhm,
And because of that, you're having all these incidents happening because they lost their voice, they don't have anybody to talk to. And you want to create a space where you can have people who can hold you not just accountable, but hold the space for you
mhm.
when you can't, right? That's what we're building. That's the community we're
Yeah.
building, starting with this event. So just know that this is not just a regular run of the mill thing. We want to make sure that you are supported all the way through, right? And that you don't feel so lost and in the shuffle and abandoned that you don't, because it happened to me, right? So that's one of the reasons
Mhm,
why I'm
mhm,
so like this is my mission because I've been there.
mhm,
I've been there, so I
mhm.
know what it feels like, and I've come
Yeah.
through it. Now I can help other people to come through it in a way that
Mhm,
is sustainable. That you don't fall back into old habits that
mhm,
causes you
mhm,
to go back into those feelings that doesn't support you. So um,
mhm.
peer on peer coaching, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. We were on a coach and I were on another call early. I don't know what day it was or what day it is, but we talked a little bit about the empty chair technique, right?
Oh,
About
yeah, yeah,
like there are different therapeutic methods that are available that even as close as we are to each other, I'm doing air quotes. There are people. Oh, actually, I'm going to quote a friend of mine, Nadia Mello. She said, "With technology and social media, she said you everybody's talking, but nobody's hearing you. So there are people like on there's a Instagram thread today, and it was like, hey, put a red heart if you're feeling great, fill a green heart if you're this, and a black heart if you just can't take it anymore. And I saw some like three black hearts, and nobody responded. And this is like I mean, there's this account has like 3 million followers. So we've got to realize that though we have the tools to communicate broadly across multiple platforms, utilizing technology and AI and all of those things, the healing happens in the room, right? The healing happens in those sacred spaces where you're not getting lost in the noise of scroll, scroll, scroll. Look at what they did. Look at where they went. Look at what they want me to buy. Stop. Let's stop for a moment and take 3 days to say, I hear you. Like if that, and I took my time out of I pulled over actually to put a little note to each of those people that had a black heart. I don't know those people. I don't know know who they are. But the work that we do at Phoenix Speaks and 2020 Lives Change is suicide prevention. Creating mental wealth is what we do so that people have something every day to remind themselves of the deposits that
Mhm.
God put in their life by just waking them up, that their friends put in their lives by just texting. And I'm hoping I will leave transformed enough to feel like I don't have to say, okay, here's a picture of me in the hospital. Talk to you later. Bye. Because people are like, why didn't you tell me? I didn't know you were in the hospital. Well, you ain't calling and checking on me. Like the people who are here know that I was in the hospital, right? One of our good friends, your new friend, Linda Fisk,
And,
I was recently in the hospital and she lives in a city. She lives, you think I live far. She lives far and then far. And she drove all the way to the hospital to bring me the cutest little stuffed lion. I think I'm gonna bring it to our event. I'm gonna bring this lion, right? Because it's the cutest little, like, oh, I'm a lion, but it was adorable. And she sat with me in that space, and we're just not used to that. We're used to saying, "Well, I put it on Facebook, so everybody knows that I'm having a bad day." Well,
mhm.
they don't know what you need. They don't know how to support
Yeah,
you. They don't know how to say,
yeah.
"Well, I need you to FaceTime me." Twice a week. I need to see. I mean, need to put my eyes on you, right?
Right,
Like,
right. Yeah, that's what you want, and that's part of the challenge too, right? Like, how do and women, a lot of women have this challenge. They don't ask for what they want. So, but go ahead.
no, that was it. I was just,
It's a big thing
yeah.
asking for what you want. Yep. Chris has
Well,
put
and
his
then
link up
actually,
here in the chat.
oh, what did he
Um,
get? Okay, let me see. Let me see.
so he's
I
sharing
gotta
his
pull
life
it up.
experiences regarding these topics. Yeah, it's needed, Chris.
Mhm.
So kudos to you because um, especially as a man, men aren't they're not supposed to cry, they're not supposed to feel emotions and all of this stuff, right? So kudos to you that you're out there sharing your lived experience with others in a way that inspires them. Yeah, absolutely. I acknowledge you for that.
Chris said it's not a part of the mental
Absolutely.
health movement. It's a He said it's not a part of.
It's
It's
a
a
movement.
movement. Yeah. See, this is. I'm so honored. I'm
Good
so
stuff.
blessed. All right, so we got 10 minutes left. We are going to talk about the pricing for this event. There is an investment involved, and we are offering a VIP package. So if you are interested in attending this event and you want to take advantage of that VIP offer, then can you talk people
Mhm.
through how to do that? Because I got a couple of phone calls today. People were like, I saw y'all on YouTube. How do you do it?
Oh,
What do we do? What do we find out?
I gotta give you the link.
So yeah, so if there's a different link, so we've got the link for the website, but make sure that if
Yeah.
you like, how should they like log on to
So
take
here's
advantage of the Phoenix?
here's what I would do to take advantage of Phoenix Speaks. You get to reach out to Sherry and just send her a message. It doesn't have to be a phone
Mhm.
call. You just send her a message on any of the platforms because I know we're live on a lot of platforms right here tonight. But she'll see
Yes.
it, and then what we'll do is we'll give you the link to that. I just don't want to give it out to everybody because as we said
No.
before, this is an exclusive event. We're looking for specific women to join us in the room. So when you reach out to Sherry, she'll know who you are and she'll send you the link with the special pricing for you to jump in and take advantage of that and be there with us. So just make sure, again, reach out to Sherry. And if you want to reach out to me, that's fine too. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Coach Lorna Sherland on Instagram, on LinkedIn and Facebook, just Lorna Sherland.
Listen, let me tell you why this is my transformation coach, y'all. You see how she just spun that back to me? You see how she was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, call her. But no, I get it. I love it. This is what I need. This is what I need, though. That
I
kind
didn't
of
say call, I said text. So you don't
it's
have to.
I don't I'm just teasing. This is what I'm saying. This is the kind of energy that we can look forward to when we are in the room. Imagine someone with this amount of tenacity and this amount of like encouragement. And then like you'll get to be who you are. The reason that I get to be who I am right now is because Coach Lorna has given me the opportunity to show up as I am. And I believe that other people need this right now more than anything. People who had jobs that they've worked their whole lives, those jobs are gone. People
Hmm.
who had plans to do a thing, that thing no longer exists. It is no
Right.
longer. Well, how do you find yourself in the midst of all of the noise and all of the distortion? It's by being a part of a small intentional group with a sacred space where we can say, here's what was born of this space. We are women. We give birth to
We're
things. We
birthers.
bring
Absolutely.
we are,
Yes.
so like why can we not give birth to the next version of ourselves? Like why
Else.
why don't we have time to do that? Like
Let's
how
go to
we're like
church, dear.
I mean, don't get me excited. I get like, hey, but like what if I'm a phoenix, I feel like sometimes, I feel like when I met you even, I was a phoenix, right? I'm like, yes, I am the founder and chief experience officer of Phoenix Speaks. And it's like, wait, this is you want to talk about distortion? When I send you a text message on my phone, I have a little emoji that is a phoenix. And it's a beautiful phoenix, like, right? Some people don't have the same phone as me. Do you know what the distortion does when I send that phoenix? It is a
Hmm.
pigeon head and a flame. This is real. I could not make this up, coach. I promise you.
That's
I remember
hilarious.
somebody sent me a message and it was a screenshot, and I was like, why is there a pigeon? I'm not a pigeon. I'm a phoenix. What is but how but how often do we let the world see us through this lens of like, well, I don't have an Apple, I don't have an iPhone, I don't have the newest update. So you're obviously just a bird and there's a fire behind you. This is a different story than saying I am a phoenix rising from the flame and above the ashes. Every 500 years, I get to reinvent myself. That's a whole different thing than a pigeon head and a flame. Like,
And a flame. The flame burning the
I mean, I
pigeon.
feel like the pigeon was like trying to get out. Like the pigeon was like, I don't want to. I want to. Let me get somebody save me from this lady. But imagine being able to be transformed in a space with people who are also being transformed,
Mhm.
and seeing that ripple effect of impact. Yes, I'm going to drop. Yes, I'm plugging my book again. But I don't get any.
But you get to, because that's the whole
Well,
point, right? That's the whole point. Why this is so aligned is because we're creating a ripple effect. Just imagine. Okay, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna shut up.
right.
I promise. Just imagine the 40 or 50 women in the room being transformed, right?
Mm,
They leave that room and they continue in the journey of transformation. Imagine, even if they only impact one person each
yes, which they will.
when they leave the room,
Yeah,
that's a ripple effect.
absolutely.
And imagine how many the generations that, so one teach one, then the other
Each
one
one
teach.
teach one.
Imagine the generation.
Hmm. I got goosebumps.
That's the movement. Yeah, that's the movement.
All right, so obviously I have an assignment. So if y'all when y'all reach out to me, and I will make sure that you get the link so that you can be in the room. Again, very limited seating. It's not for everyone, and that's okay, because even if you're not in the room and if you don't make it in the room this time, I promise you, someone who was in the room will be able to see this transformation. And we are that kind of society. We're like, let me see what happens. I'm gonna but we don't have time to waste. Like the rest of the world is changing at every second. Everything that comes up in the news feed. Oh, we're doing this with money. Money's going away. They're retiring the penny. Everybody's moving to all these things. But so now we get a chance to be like, well, you know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to be an author, or I always wanted to be and maybe it's not an entrepreneur, which William Harrison will be able to wrap us up at the end of this amazing curated experience. He'll be able to make sure that everything makes sense financially. So
Mhm.
yes, it's going to be a sacred space and transformative, but at the end of the day, we want to be able to level up our successes. We want to be able to say, I walked in here as this and I left here as this, and this is how my family will benefit financially going forward. So
Yep.
again, super excited about this opportunity. I'm so proud of myself and the growth that you've helped me put. Like I did a thing. Like and before we leave though, because in case people didn't watch yesterday, I need you to talk to us as we wrap up. about the picture of this caterpillar from yesterday
Oh
because
yeah,
I
right.
just think it's such a nice, it's so perfect for what's going to happen in the room.
Yeah. So we were talking about transformation, right? So as I was creating, what I do behind the scenes is I take walks in nature because I believe that trees teach us so much, but we got to be present to watch it, right? Nature teaches us so much, but we got to be present to watch it. And as I was walking, I saw this caterpillar, and it's a little caterpillar, and I don't even know how I saw it. I just looked down and I saw this thing squirming. I'm like, what is that? And I zoomed in on it with my phone, and I watched how this caterpillar was moving and squirming, and the bottom of it was different from the top, and it was just coming out of its cocoon, and there were some huge red ants, like so big. They were like,
Because
yeah,
Texas. Yeah.
yes, they were just going at the caterpillar, but he was still trying to come out of the cocoon. And this is just a metaphor for what's happening in the world today and what's going to happen with you as you transform yourself in the room on the 26th.
I'm so
It's going to
excited.
be shifting out of your cocoon into something new. And yes, the red ants, the world is going to you, but how do you
Mhm.
stay and come out on the other side? Right. So I gotta put
Oh
a
my God.
picture. I gotta put that picture somewhere because it was so good. Yeah, it was so good. It was really. I was
Yeah,
watching.
we need that picture.
Yeah, yeah. So
So, and just so we're clear, for those that know me, I'm so glad she didn't send me the video because if I'd have saw that thing moving, so I'm glad you just. I'm so glad you sent the picture, the still picture, so I could receive what was meant for me in that
yeah,
moment. Because if you'd have sent me anything with anything moving, no ma'am. Yeah.
it
So,
was so pretty though. You could. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty. The colors
it
and
was.
the movement, and it was great.
That's
I'm so
why I still need transformational coaching, y'all, because I'm like, I don't want to see it moving though. They just show me the caterpillar picture and they show me the butterfly picture. I don't necessarily, but that's who we are, right? That's what we get a chance to say, no, it's gonna be ugly. Like it's some of it's not, it's gonna be hard to look at, but that's how we get to where we are thriving. So reach out to me on any of the platforms. Thank you so much, Coach Lorna, for this opportunity
thank
and this
you for having me
privilege.
on. Thank you.
Are we doing this again tomorrow? Are we doing 3 days in a row? What are we doing? Because
That's up to you, girl. I'm always, I stay
she's
ready.
like, when I stay ready, I don't have to get ready. I love it. I love it. So we might be doing this again tomorrow, but please do reach out if you are interested. Once we sell out, that's it. And so,
That's it.
not saying we won't do another event like this, but the first one is the beginning of our transformation,
Mhm.
and I'm excited to see
Right.
each of you in the room. And I'll be talking to you soon, so I can give you this link so we can get you signed up. Until then, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Can't wait to see you there. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Have a great
Chris. Thank you
evening,
so
y'all.
much for showing up. We appreciate you.